Hi guys, just a very short video about the reality. The one thing that I see the customers don't necessarily get wrong but misinterpret about costs, and that is around their assumptions and what they perceive to be included and not included. And I once went and I was on a job site with a lovely woman, and we were in Monkstown, and the next thing she said, come in. She was renting a house next door to where the work was, and she says, let's go in and have a cup of tea. And I got into the house and I said to her, I don't know if you can afford a cup of tea. And she said to me, what do you mean? And I said, well, you just bought a pile of stuff and you put them in the shopping basket. She had no earthly idea. She had been on site with the builder, and he said, well, what about this? And she said, I'll do this. And what about understored? And she says, yeah, put in some shelves. And before she knew it, she had bought about $2,000 worth of stuff in 3 sentences. And it was so quick and so easy and so multi-layered. And she was making assumptions that this was included. And she was making the other assumption that he was going to do it forever and for nothing. And because he had been complicit and friendly and decent to her, but you could see now the costs were getting higher, he was starting to price for this. And I actually said to her, you need to make and get clear. And I said, ring him up and ask him. And she rang him up and he said, no, they were all going to be extras. So, and they came in at something like, I think it was about $3,000. And she had no earthly idea that she had just spent €3,000. No earthly idea. Her assumptions was that everything was okay. She was paying a huge amount of money, which she was. And she thought for that amount of money, everything, small little things to be included. But the reality is, the profit margins on construction work are very, very, very low. People find that hard to believe. You can have margins from anywhere to 8 to 10%, even lower in some situations. During the recession, building work was being done at 40 or 50% below cost. Guys were going in deeper into the hole to survive and thinking that they may be able to come out. Absolute crazy stuff. So the assumptions that somebody spending a huge amount of money actually is that it covers everything, and it doesn't. Far from it. And specifications need to be tied into it. Detailed analysis needs to be done. Sitting down with the architect, spending longer going through what's in and what isn't. Having walkthroughs with the builder, an initial project stage, asking what seems like ridiculous, obvious questions has to be done because the truth comes out. So it's not naivety. These are highly educated, intelligent people. It's unknown. It's structurally unknown. It's, if construction people went into any other industry, they'd be just as exposed because it's a structural change. Okay guys, talk to you soon. So it's about due diligence, assuming that nothing's included, which is hard. And the real reason it's hard is because cognitive bias comes in. We want the outcome and we get very invested, and obviously when you're looking after the most important thing in your life, your home, your family, your kids, your future, the stability of your whole life in essence, it's very, very, and you're spending huge money. It's absolutely psychological and psychoanalytically and neurologically as well. You're going to convince yourself. You're going to start making assumptions. And that's difficult to undo. It's difficult to undo. It's also difficult when the price comes in paying it. So the harder and more rigorous we are around questions, and rigorous with our own self-introspection around our own bias. Not easy stuff. Okay, take care folks. Talk to you soon. Bye.